Good evening class, this is Nikhil Chaudhary and today we are going to study equal area criteria topic from the unit power system stability. As we have already covered few things of this unit, out of which we have covered brief introduction of power system stability, what is stability, what are the types of stability, what are the factors which are responsible for these types of stability issues. Then after that we have studied power flow equation, and in this power flow equation we have derived the active and reactive power flow into the system. Then after that we have studied the swing equation, in which we have seen how this equation describes the behavior of synchronous machine during transient or during any disturbance. So to understand this equal area criteria, first we need to develop some concept of power flow equation and the swing equation. Though we have already covered these things, but you need to see this one more time. So let's start with power flow equation. This is equal to sending end voltage into receiving end voltage upon system reactance into sine delta. So this is generalized equation for the power system. And if we are talking about the synchronous machine, then this electrical power output will be equal to induced EMF into terminal voltage upon synchronous reactance into sine delta. So as we can see, this electrical power output is directly proportional to sine delta. So corresponding to this equation, we can obtain a curve between active power and load angle delta. So it will be a sinusoidal curve, and at delta 90 degree this machine will deliver maximum power output, which is denoted by Pmax. Why? Because sine will have its maximum value at 90 degree only. So as we have seen that how the system will become unstable when this load angle delta crosses 90 degree. So above 90 degree we will get unstable behavior of the machine, or the machine will lose its synchronism, or we can say that it can fall out of step when the delta angle crosses 90 degree. So in order to achieve stable operation or steady state operation, we need to operate this machine below 90 degree. So below 90 degree we will get stable operation. So from this curve we can see that even though we are getting maximum power output at delta is equal to 90 degree, we do not operate this machine at delta is equal to 90 degree. We operate this machine at delta less than 90 degree. So let's say we are operating this machine at delta is equal to 60 degree. So we have to compromise with this much amount of electrical output in order to provide this much stability margin. So this is the stability margin which we need to provide to the synchronous machine for stable operation. Why we are doing this? Why we are operating this machine below 90 degree? So if we operate this machine at delta is equal to 90 degree, then even a very small disturbance can lead this system to become unstable, because small disturbance can cause this delta to cross 90 degree, so that the system will become unstable. So we provide this machine with this much of stability margin, so that it allows the rotor to swing up to a certain angle without losing its synchronism. So when disturbance occurs, the rotor will start swinging around this delta, and while swinging it can go beyond 90 degree. If we have enough margin, it will remain within the 90 degree angle, and the stable operation of the machine can be ensured. This angle delta, we have already talked about this angle delta. This is the load angle, which is also called power angle and torque angle. So this load angle is the angle between rotor field and stator magnetic field. So this is the rotor which is rotating at synchronous speed, and its rotor feed will also rotate at synchronous speed. So both will have the same reference axis, which is, so this is rotor feed axis, and there will be some stator magnetic field which is also rotating at synchronous speed in the same direction. So this stator magnetic field have some reference axis. This is stator field axis. So there is a lag between rotor feed axis and stator feed axis, which is denoted by angle delta. This lag is there in between these two axes because of the load. As load increases, this delta angle will get increases. As we have discussed that this rotor is provided with some mechanical input which generate mechanical torque. So if we put some electrical load, it will oppose this mechanical torque in opposite direction, so that the rotor gets deaccelerated. So due to increase in electrical load, the delta angle will get increases, and if this electrical load get reduces, this delta angle also get reduces. So with increase in delta angle, the electrical power output is getting increased. We can see it from the equation also and from the power curve also. So if this machine is operating at some angle during steady state during the steady state operation, suppose there is no disturbance and this machine is operating at delta is equal to 60 degree. Suppose some disturbance occur in the form of sudden increase in load, then this angle will increase due to increase in electrical output, and it will reach to 80 degree after this disturbance gets over. So when initially some steady state operation was going on, the rotor was rotating at synchronous speed, and there were no disturbance. So at that time, change in rotor angle with respect to time was 0. When disturbance occur, this change in rotor angle with respect to time will no more be 0, and after this disturbance will get over, this operating point will reach at some new steady state point, say 80 degree, and again this change in angle with respect to change in time will become 0, and steady state operation will begin. So starting from 60 degree, and while after reaching 80 degree, there is in between some transient will occur due to that disturbance, due to sudden change. That transient behavior is described by the swing equation. Okay, we have already derived this swing equation. This m angular momentum into, this is m angular momentum into d square delta by dt square is equal to P mechanical input minus P electrical output. So when there was steady state operation was going on, this mechanical input was equal to electrical output. So the acceleration or deacceleration was not there in the machine. There was no swinging of the rotor, hence accelerating power PA was 0. When some disturbance occur in the form of change in electrical load, sudden change in electrical load, then there is going to be some change in this accelerating power. So if electrical load increases, this accelerating power will become negative. Okay, and if this, at the time, deacceleration will be going on. Deacceleration of the rotor will takes place when electrical power output increases. From here also we can see, as electrical power output increases, this electrical opposition torque will also increase, which will deaccelerate this rotor. So the rotor will feel deacceleration. If electrical power output reduces, then this accelerating factor will become positive, which will make this rotor to accelerate. So acceleration will take place when there is a reduction in load. So this equation will show the behavior of rotor during transient period. So initially this rotor was operating at 60 degree. Some sudden changes occurred in load and finally it reaches at this point, which is 80 degree. In between there was some transient going on, means the rotor will swing when there is a disturbance. So with these concepts we can easily understand equal area criteria. So let's start with equal area criteria. So this equal area criteria is graphical method to determine whether the system is stable or not. So we will see with some derivation that what is this criteria, which is useful to find out that whether the system will remain in synchronism or not, or the steady state operation will be ensured or not. So due to sudden disturbance, system may lose stability even it is operated below its steady state limit. So the maximum power transfer is limited by the requirement of maintaining transit stability. So let's see what is equal area criteria. First we need to derive this criteria. So we will start with swing equation. We know swing equation. What is swing equation? M into d square data by dt square is equal to Pm minus Pe, which is accelerating power Pm minus Pe. Okay. So we will do some mathematics, multiplying both sides by 2d data by dt and integrating with respect to time. We will get this. And if we integrate this thing, we will get m d delta by dt square is equal to, so this m will not be here, it will become in the denominator part of the right hand side. So this is the integration, and this integration will take place from initial operating angle delta angle with till final delta angle up to the rotor gets swing. This is the angle where up to which the rotor will swing. So from here we will get d delta by dt is equal to this thing. So after that we will see that to achieve stable operation, this d delta by dt should be equal to 0. So we will put 0, then we will get some condition here. So during this disturbance, rotor will oscillate and delta changes. The angle delta will stop changing and machine will again be operating at synchronous speed after a disturbance when d delta by dt is equal to 0. So after the disturbance, I have already told you that this d delta change in load angle with respect to time will become 0. Hence for stable operation we need to apply this this condition that change in angle with respect to change in time is 0. So from equation 2 we put 0 here, and so let's see, this is the electrical power output, this is the mechanical power input, which will be constant because it does not depend upon load angle. Mechanical power input does not depend upon load angle, it will depend upon the valve opening. Okay, so here if we are putting PA is the accelerating power Pm minus P, d delta is equal to 0. So we are integrating this P mechanical minus P electrical from initial operating angle up to the angle where the rotor reaches when the swinging occurs. So when the disturbance occurs, rotor will start swinging and can reach up to this point. Okay, later we will see that this maximum swinging can be allowed up to here. Up to this point also it can return to stable operation. Even though it is crossing 90 degree, it can return to its stable region when the equal area criteria is met. So let's see from here, if we are integrating it from delta naught to delta 2, and after dividing it into two parts, we can integrate into two parts, that from delta naught to delta 1 is P mechanical minus P electrical. So this is P mechanical input and this is P electrical output. Okay, so from delta naught to delta 1, Pm is greater than P electrical output. From delta 1 to delta 2, P electrical output is greater than P mechanical input. So we are dividing it into two parts here, from delta naught to delta 1 PA d delta. So integration of any curve will give area, as you already know. So if we equating this part, this will become minus. So this is the area which is called positive area, and this is the area which is called negative area. So integration of P mechanical minus P electrical will give some area between that P mechanical input and P electrical. So that area will be this area, which is denoted by A1, and integration of this accelerating power, which is P mechanical minus P electrical, between delta 1, this will be delta 1, to delta 2 will give area under this curve. Okay, so this is area A2. This area is A2. So here we can see this will be the condition for stable operation. This is the equal area criteria. If positive area is equal to negative area, this is positive area where P mechanical is greater than P electrical, and this is the negative area where P electrical is greater than P mechanical. So for stable operation, these two areas should be equal. Okay. So we can see that this A1 is the positive area, which is the integration of P mechanical minus P electrical. It is also called accelerating area because acceleration in the rotor is going on. We can see from that swing equation, if P mechanical is greater than P electrical, there will be the acceleration. I have told you already that acceleration will be there in the rotor, and if P mechanical is less than P electrical, then there will be the deceleration in the rotor. So area A1 represent the positive area or accelerating area. Area A2, where P mechanical is less than P electrical, is the negative area or deaccelerating area. So one more thing we can see that this A1 represent the kinetic energy stored by the rotor during acceleration, and this A2 represent kinetic energy given up by the rotor during deceleration. Okay, when acceleration and this P mechanical is greater than P electrical, then the rotor and the delta angle will start increasing. Okay, and this operating point from here, it will go up to there. So when it reaches there, it will not just like that stop at that point, rather it will start to move. The rotor will start swing up to here, because from here to here this rotor will store some kinetic energy, and after that it will give up the kinetic energy when it reaches here. Okay, so this was the equal area criteria. Since for stable operation, positive area or accelerating area A1 should be equal to negative or deaccelerating area at A2, it is called equal area criteria. So it provides the following information. It is an easy means of finding maximum angle of swing. The maximum angle of swing is up to here, the rotor can swing in this case, and maximum it can go up to there, because after that again P electrical will less than P mechanical, and rotor will become, the synchronous machine will become unstable. So from equal area criteria we came to know that even though this delta angle crosses 90 degree due to large disturbance, it can return to its stable region as long as the equal area criteria is met. So this was the equal area criteria, and the application of equal area criteria we will see it in next video. Till then, thank you.